Hello everyone, I'm Railcoon and welcome to the Community Spotlight. For tonight's show, you had the choice to vote between Mega Man X2 any percent and Mega Man X3 100%. At a few points, the vote was pretty close, but your votes decided to bring Mega Man X3, run by Darren Vile, onto the show today. If you missed the vote and you want to make sure you catch upcoming votes, then head on over to our Twitter, GamesDoneQuick at twitter.com, where the current vote is between Sly Cooper 1 and Gravity Rush Remastered. Before we get too much into the show, we do have a few quick announcements for SGQ. Prize submissions are open until June 9th. The registration deadline, which means when you can cancel and still get a refund, and for any slots that open up, you can register and take those empty slots, is until May 27th. There's going to be the Sprint tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Kuso Grande Invitational Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, as well, Classic Mega Man Relay has moved on to the drafting stage. You can find out more information about that at joka.com/megamay. And then that's joka, JOKAAH.com. Well, of course, this is a cross-promotion event. We've got Mega Man going on. Classic Mega Man's doing a lot of stuff, so we're bringing you other flavors of Mega Mans. We've got Mega Man X3 today. Darren, why don't you tell us a little bit about X3? What got you started on these games, but especially what brings you to X3 out of all of the options?
Well, I love X1 through X3 a ton. It's those are my main speed games outside of Castlevania, Circle of the Moon. But I don't know, ever since I started speedrunning these games, I kind of jump around categories a lot. But recently I've been really gravitating towards this category in particular. Updates to it from a pretty infamous known as Nero from Japan. He did a lot of updates to the strats, a lot of stuff that you would really only see in the test, but now we're going to include it RTA. So I really just wanted to give all those strats a try, and really digging it since then.
What drew you to the X1 through X3 originally? What got you into speedrunning them?
Well, I guess really it was just, really loving these games. I mean, growing up, I really liked X2 and X3. Once I got older and I picked them back up because one of my roommates had MMX1, I was like, man, this game really is just really solid, tight movement, the wall kicking, the shooting, the dashing, everything about it is just so fluid that I wonder what it would be as a speed run. So I started, looking up speed runs of it, obviously, and was like, man, this is really way up my alley. So that's kind of how I started giving it a try.
Nice. Is there anything you want to preface with before we get started on this game? Anything you want to say before we get started?
Nothing too particular other than what I'd said right at the beginning, just that there's a lot of new strats. It's really hard to get a really good consistent run of X3 Hundo nowadays, especially with all the updated stuff. So I'm gonna give it my best. There's some new stuff that even I've been doing that Nero hasn't been doing, but run the category in a little while. But just there's all sorts of stuff to look out for, so I'm just going to try my best to nail all these really tough strats. But yeah, I'd just go ahead and let our commentators take it from here. There's Orsa and Cassio, so yeah, thanks everybody. I hope you enjoy the run.
Yeah, and we're pulling for you. I know chat knows you can do it. So let's hop over and I think we're ready to go. Just let me double check. So just to introduce, since we didn't mention them before, we've got Orsa and Cassio III here to commentate. We've got the Ready from Tech. So when you guys are ready, why don't you give us a countdown and we'll get started.
All right, awesome. Well,
I'm Cassio III.
Yeah, and this game is really cool. I love this category, and looking forward to seeing Darren. I guess let's go ahead and get started. So countdown.
Yep, go for it.
All right, sounds good. 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
All right, so X3 is the third of the SNES games. This one, as far as movement goes, it's relatively similar to the other two. So if you've seen X1 and X2 before, not too much has changed. If you haven't, you got your normal Mega Man style dash and shoot and jump, and Darren's going to be showing off all that in the intro. At the moment, as far as Darren's shooting goes, he's got a couple different options. He can shoot lemons, which is just like your basic shot. He can charge it up about halfway and get a green shot, and he can charge it up all the way and get sort of a fully charged blue buster shot. They all do a little bit different damage, and he also is going to be gaining weapons, obviously, throughout the stages, and be getting a lot of upgrades since this is 100%.
A new feature that X3 has over X2 is the presence of Zero as a playable character. And you're only going to play as him for a very short while in this intro stage, and not much at the rest of the game, since it's pretty slow to change characters. And Zero doesn't really add much speed to your movement.
Mm-hmm. He does add an extra charge level here, though. Zero has his famous Z-Saber from the previous games. It does a lot of damage, as you can see. It pretty much one-shot Mac there. And we will be gaining access to that later on in the game, so look out for that.
So, coming up to the first boss, the run. This boss doesn't have a lot of health compared to the other ones. I mean, it has the same amount of health as all the bosses, but he takes a lot more damage since he's just introduction to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his invulnerability period is fairly short too, or at least it feels like it is. You can kind of just spam green shots into him and he goes down pretty quick. Alright, so we got 8 Mavericks to choose from here at the start. This game is kind of really tough nut to crack as far as routing it and actually being able to get all the items go. We've had a couple different reroute ideas for a while, but none of them really stick without having to revisit a stage or two. Darren's going to be going to Tunnel Rhino here first, mainly to get Tornado Fang, Tunnel Rhino's weapon, which is necessary to get both the boots and the buster upgrade in the next 2 stages.
This is a very tough stage to do first, because since you don't have a lot of upgrades, actually you have none, you die really quickly, and the enemies in this stage, they do a lot of damage. So
yeah, this game in general is pretty infamous for its contact damage. Like, do you know the numbers on how much contact damage does in this stage? I think it's like 8 or something.
I think most enemies do 8.
Yeah, it's pretty intense for a first stage.
Do 4.
You gotta keep in mind, Mega Man starts with, what, 16 HP in this game?
I think it's actually
And Darren is
6 damage. Some contact. Yeah.
Yeah, and Darren is going to be taking some intentional damage boosts here on this mid-boss. This mid-boss has no invulnerability period, so you can kind of just mash into him. But mashing into him like that does require you to be sort of right inside him and taking damage from him.
That's already taking damage in a smart way, because if you take damage from his body, you only take 2, and if you had him hit you with his hand, you take 4. So like, it's already a smart decision to stay inside.
Yep, so we're at the end of the stage here. Darren making it look pretty easy. Coming up on Tunnel Rhino here, we pretty much only have the Buster option to hit him with. And unlike in the previous 2 games, dashing while you're shooting does not deal extra damage to bosses, only to regular enemies in the stage. So Darren's going to be relying mainly on the charge shot. although we may be seeing a little bit extra of a strat here. Casio, if you want to explain this.
Yeah, this strat is called CF0 because it's based on a boss from Mega Man X2 that's called that. And it consists on you just shooting a lemon when you're away from the enemy, so you have more time to charge a shot. And then you end up getting damage a little bit quicker than if you were just charging shots.
Yeah, the lemon flying through the air, you sort of want to shoot it early while the boss is still invulnerable so that it hits him immediately and it gives you a little bit of extra time to start your charge while that one shot is flying through the air toward the boss.
It sounds like a very small optimization, but it actually saves quite a bit of time at the end of one stage like this.
Yeah, this sort of CF0 strat is going to show up in a lot of different forms throughout this run on quite a few bosses, actually, in very creative ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the use of Tornado Fang here. You do need it to destroy these ice blocks and access this heart here. You don't need it directly for the boot upgrade in this stage, but coming here first would mean you would have to revisit the stage, which is suboptimal.
Yeah, the route tries to reduce the amount of revisits. It's not possible to get all the items all the way in a single pass through, but it avoids a lot of revisits by doing it this way.
Yeah, so coming up here, Darren's going to be grabbing the sub-tank. Not quite the intended way. Ooh, first try, very nice. You're intended to go get the boot upgrade, which will let you dash in the air, and then come back and get it. But by doing a very precise wall kick there, you can just barely grab the edge and get up there.
Yeah, I think it's a very small frame window. Like you have 1 or 2 frames depending on how you do it.
Yep.
So very nice execution by him. And having the boots so early, it really gives you a lot of movement options through the following stages.
Yeah, you'll be seeing that here a little bit with this boss fight here. If you're not familiar with Blizzard Buffalo, he has a little bit of a quirk with his pattern. As he turns around, if you jump, the AI anticipates you jumping over him, so it'll just immediately turn around and sort of get stuck in the wall. And by sort of repeating this process in exactly the way that Darren's doing it here, you can keep him locked in the corner while also sort of getting another CF0 strat going by jumping away from him and getting the lemon out.
Yeah, pretty nice execution from Darren there. This fight was really good.
That was really nice. That strat saves, what, 2 or 3 seconds over just standing still and charging, dumping shots into him?
Yeah, about 3 seconds. And now we are watching a cutscene, because this game has quite a bit of them, actually.
Yeah.
There's many cutscenes. And who's that
Yeah,
guy?
here we're getting introduced to a couple robots that we'll be seeing. The first 2 are very important, Bit and Bite. They'll be showing up in the next 2 of the next 6 stages, essentially. Bit will show up in 1 of stages 3, 4, and 5, and Bite will show up in 1 of 6, 7, and 8 at random.
Yeah. You have to fight them, but it's very important that you don't kill them. To kill them, you have to hit them with the last hit with their weaknesses, and you don't want to do that because it would make it impossible to get 100%.
Yes. They also explode, which takes like 15 seconds or so per.
Yeah, it's not only very slow, but it would invalidate the run. Well, I guess you can kill one of them.
Yes. Yeah. So here we're grabbing the Buster upgrade. This is going to let us charge up an extra tier. It's going to give us access to sort of 2 stored charge shots that are often referred to as neon shots in the community. And now that Darren has access to both the arm upgrade and the boot upgrade, he'll be able to pull off what's called a neon jump, which we'll be seeing quite a bit in this run, like almost everywhere.
This mid boss that he's killing right now. Oh, it's pretty hard to kill in one cycle. He almost got it, but he was a little bit too slow in his mashing. You see that he killed him immediately as he was coming out of the ceiling, but still, killing him before he goes into the ceiling saves about 5 seconds.
So we're going to see a little bit of Tornado Fang usage here. This weapon doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, but it does have a quirk to it in that if you hit an enemy with it, it will deactivate their hitbox for a little bit over a second and let you move through them.
Yeah, it's a nice feature from the weapon.
Alright, so here comes our first set of neon jumps. These will sort of act as double jumps, essentially, which will let Darren access this heart a little bit quicker. Oof. Yeah, these are tough. Essentially, the way these work is you need to either press or release the shot just to shoot the neon charge on the same frame that you jump while you're air dashing, and that will give you sort of an extra jump because X will be sort of thinking he's on the ground for a frame.
Yeah. Now he's fighting Neon Tiger. This is a very random boss fight. And he's trying to optimize his damage by hitting him with lemons when he... between his actions. Because when he changes actions, he resets his invisibility so he can get hit again.
Yep, that wasn't bad. Tiger will also block charge shots while he's standing on the ground, so that's why he'll stick to lemons and only charge whenever he actually commits to a pattern.
Yeah. He was using ice, charged ice there, just because it does 2 damage. And after when he turns yellow and jumps around, if you try to hit him with a charge shot, he will block it, so it's a good way of dealing a little bit more damage.
Yep.
Now it's Gravity Beetle stage. Many people say it's the best song in the game.
I would agree. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And we still didn't find Bit.
Yeah, that means he's gonna spawn in Seahorse, which is not ideal, but I'm sure Darren...
Yeah, he must have a plan for that.
Yeah, the only thing that makes this a little bit awkward is that there are now sort of 3 bosses in Seahorse that are gonna be weak to Frost, which puts you a little bit low on ammo. Ooh. This game has a lot of elevators in it for some reason.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much all going to get skipped like that due to some combination of neons.
Yeah, elevators are super slow in this game. And thankfully they place some platforms in strategic spots so we could just ignore them and climb away.
Yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see what kind of a strat we're going to get here from Darren. Because I've seen him workshopping some things pretty recently on this boss. Okay, we're going to get the normal strat. This boss essentially gets stun locked by his weakness. You can kind of just hit him with Ray Splasher and it'll stun him and reset his pattern. It is slightly faster to try to squeeze in a Buster hit in between, just because he gets a really long invulnerability period when he's hit with his weakness. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty straightforward fight.
Yeah. About the neon jumps, they not only offer you a jump in midair, they also reset your dash, so you can dash again after doing a neon jump. So you can basically have like 3 air dashes in a row, because if you get 2 neon jumps all the way, so it's not just an air jump. A
Right.
second jump is even better than that.
Yeah, so very nice climb here. This game is very vertical in design, which lets these sort of neon jump strats really shine in their execution.
Yeah.
All right, so this is guaranteed to be bit here. We're going to be getting, I believe, a little bit of another CF0 strat here on bit, using sort of Frost Shield's movement property, where it'll sort of lag in place a little bit and then jet forward. Can use that to get a little bit of an extra charge in here. Very nice.
Nice. It's very well executed.
And then again, he does not want to. Wants to make sure he does not finish off bit with his weakness. He wants to finish him off with the Buster charge so he doesn't explode.
It's really good how the strat sets up him to be exactly 1 HP.
And I think that was our first ride armor there. No, maybe our second. There are 4 ride armors in this game. There's regular one, hawk, kangaroo, and frog. They all have different movement properties that mimic the animals that they're named after.
Pretty good fight with the mid-boss of the stage.
This mid-boss is also sort of weak to Frost Shield, which is unfortunate, because so is the boss, and so is Bit. So Darren just opting to sort of just mash him down with the Buster instead. Probably a good call.
Yeah, the boss takes way longer to kill with Buster than this mid-boss. So it's much better to save the eyes for him. I don't think we mentioned since he has the boots and the arms upgrade, he can climb ladders really fast. So that's why he's not like climbing the walls on all the ladders.
Mm-hmm.
When they're long enough, it's faster to just climb them.
Okay, so Toxic Seahorse here has a bit of an odd property with his invulnerability frames. Depending on how high you hit him, whenever he lands, there will be some amount of time where he just doesn't have invulnerability frames, and you can just sort of mash ice into him. So the strat is essentially just knock him down and then mash into him at the right time, and he goes down pretty quick.
It was very nice execution.
Yeah, that was really good.
You can kill him in 2 jumps, but Darren opted to go for a jump fight because it's sure to do 3 jumps, then mess up the 2 jump fight and do a backup.
Yep. Okay, so into Blast Hornet here, we have another elevator. Skipped very nicely with some neon jumps there. And then we're going to be coming into this mid-boss here who is weak to acid. And we're going to be seeing another sort of CF0 strat on this guy to use the charged acid in conjunction with the acid burst bounces to drop this wireframe guy pretty quickly.
This is a really awkward enemy to kill with this weapon.
Oh, nice.
Yo, pretty good.
I love this fight. It's so cool.
Now Darren is going to be collecting the base right armor. Does it have a name?
I don't know. Not sure.
Yeah, you need this one to use the other ones. Nice neon jumps. Catch the heart. You don't actually need them, but it's faster than doing an up dash because the animation is so long.
Yeah, this is the first game that added the sort of the vertical air dash instead of the horizontal one. It's really, really useful, but it's unfortunately pretty slow if you're a top level runner like Darren is. You want to be neoning everywhere instead to avoid the animation.
So Hornet fight. It's gonna be another instance of he doing a kind of CF0 strat. He's gonna use the charged gravity wheel to do a lot of damage to Hornet. Then he might do a shot of ice just to get 2 damage to get the health. Oh,
yeah, unfortunately missed it there. Yeah, if you just do the charged, uncharged, gravity fight, you'll leave Hornet with exactly 2 health. So that was kind of annoying for a while until someone discovered that whenever Hornet he looks like he has invincibility frames whenever he's rising up after being hit, but he actually doesn't. They're just fake. So you can just quick switch to ice and then just put an ice shield in him.
Pretty good fight.
Yeah,
even with that small mistake, he managed to finish it up well. Catfish stage. This is probably one of the hardest 8 Maverick stages in this category. Because
this
it has
sounds pretty
a
challenging.
lot. Yeah, it has a lot of climbing and a lot of neon jumps and a lot more spikes than the other stages.
Yeah, one thing that is nice about this stage compared to any percent though is if you've already done Hornet stage, is that right? That's what causes the enemies to be docile?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, normally these enemies are red and a lot more aggressive, but if you clear, I believe it's Blast Hornet stage, then they will be a lot less aggressive, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, destroy the base that supplies the pieces.
Right. Okay, so we'll be grabbing the armor here, the chest upgrade. This makes you take less damage, and it also gives you a shield when you do take damage that gives you even more defense for a short period of time. Oh man.
Looks like
It doesn't
damn.
particularly matter that much where Bit and Bite show up, but if you were to rank the stages, Darren would definitely be having the worst of it right now.
yeah.
Yeah, very nice charged drill strat there. That saves a lot of time over just using the regular drill.
Yeah, the regular zero does only 3 damage, right?
I think so. The unfortunate part, though, is that drill is also Catfish's weakness, and we would like to have some ammo for that for him, so...
Yeah. Oh yeah, we just saw he used the right armor for the first time. It was a very short usage.
Yeah, you actually do need it to break that platform and get down to the sub-tank down there.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned, but ice... I forgot the name of the weapon, but the ice weapon, every time you kill a ground enemy with it, it will drop a health refill for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So he was intentionally using the ice weapon to kill the enemies there.
Yeah, so here's Catfish. This boss is interesting. He will essentially just kind of flop around and sometimes throw attacks at you until he falls below half HP. And once he's below half, he'll go to the center and start trying to do his desperation attack. And that's when you basically have to hit him with drill. So you want to do as much damage as possible before he goes to the center. And then once he goes to the center, you want to make sure you see that little jolt coming in that's trying to hit him. You want to make sure that does not hit him. because if it does, he'll start to take less damage from charge drill for whatever reason. I don't really know why. But how many cycles was that? 3?
Yeah, 3.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, could be worse. Catfish can be a jerk.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the bigger random elements in the game. Him and Neon Tiger especially. Alright, so into... what's this guy's name again? Scissor Shrimper? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we're into this guy's stage. He's our last Maverick, and we're going to be collecting quite a lot out of this stage because we're also going to have to visit Vile's secret stage here in order to set up getting the Z Saber later in the game.
Yeah. So here we're going to use a right armor again to open another passage. They only use in the run for the right armor are basically this. So he kept it for a little bit because it moves a little faster than Mega Man.
Alright, so this is one of 2 stages, I believe, where you could access Vile. This or Catfish, and it just ends up being a little bit faster here to use this one instead.
Very short stage here. Full of enemies, but not very hard to dodge them.
Yeah, Triad Thunder is pretty ridiculous in this game. It does a lot of damage, and it most of the time protects you, which is nice.
Yeah.
This fight is very, very hard. This is maybe the hardest fight in the game if you're doing the CF0 strat here with Ray Splasher.
Yeah, it's very scary too, because you can, if you don't pay enough attention to it and make a mistake, you can go out of ammo, and you need to kill Vile with his weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you only kill him with Buster, he'll come back in the second Doppler stage, and you won't have access to the Z-Saber. Whew,
Okay.
All right. That ending always looks scary because if you do it right, you end with exactly 1/2 of an energy bar, which is exactly enough to do one more Ray Splasher. So it's sometimes hard to tell.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't have enough ammo, but he has. But he has to hit the last shot, otherwise it's gonna go bad.
All right, so now we just have a quick escape sequence here. This one's pretty short. It's pretty fun, though. I always enjoyed practicing this segment. Looking for 28 here.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to practice. It's a pretty short section, pretty consistent.
Nice, 28. Easy every time.
Now the run is mostly guaranteed to be successful because we passed all the potential.
Don't say that, Cassio.
Why? No, everything is gonna be fine.
All right, so we're coming up on Crush Crawfish here. I remembered his name, finally. This boss has another weird invulnerability period sort of thing. Whenever he's hit with his weakness, Triad Thunder, he has like it's an insane amount of time, like a full 1.5 seconds or something, where he doesn't have invincibility frames. In the any percent strat, you would be mashing into him, but we have charged Triad Thunder in 100%, which will hit every frame, so all you have to do is let it go and he's gone very quickly.
Really nice fight. I think at least half the bosses have really weird iframes.
Yeah, it's strange just how many like weird iframe things there are in this game.
And now, more cutscenes.
Yeah, after you beat all 8 Mavericks, Dr. Kane decides he wants to talk to you about something. I don't know. I've never played this game in English.
I probably have, but I'd never read this.
Alright, so the fortress opens, but before we go there, we have a couple things left to clean up. We have a very quick revisit to Gravity Beetle, and then a slightly longer one to Tunnel Rhino.
Yeah, there's an item to collect at the first Doppler Stage, and it needs for you to have all the other items already collected, so...
And it's also 100%, so...
Yeah, so you have to go back before doing that stage.
Yeah, that heart there, it is actually possible to get that on the first visit, but it's insanely TAS only.
Yeah.
It involves a lot of really weird movement and switching to 0. Definitely not viable in a real-time run, but it looks cool. So.
Yeah, it's because Zero's sprite and hitbox are bigger than Mega Man's, so you can kind of get inside of the wall when you swap characters. It's very weird.
Yeah, and then we have this revisit, which is awesome. Like, it's really cool how you get to come back to the first level where you were, like, really weak at the end, and now you're just, like, awesome and just destroy everything in your path.
Yeah, you have all the weapons, you have all the options of movement. Stage is so much cooler when you can actually move and kill stuff.
Alright, so here's the head capsule. Even if we could have access to this earlier, we probably wouldn't want it, because every time you enter a stage, it pulls up a map of the stage, which you're about to see here in a minute, that will show you where, or sort of the general area where any unlockables are. And you do have to see this every time you enter a stage, so you want to save it for last.
Yeah, it would be much slower to have this at the beginning of the run. So the first Doppler stage is a pretty good stage to see many weapons being used and many movement options, because it has a good balance of horizontal and vertical movement.
Yeah,
compared to the other ones.
And we get to see Spinning Blade a fair bit too, which is probably the best weapon in the game. It's ridiculously strong, and it has a ton of ammo to it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a lot of range, so it's not useful in that many cases. It's nice that you get to see it.
Oh, it gets range when you charge it. It turns into a giant Beyblade on a leash or whatever.
Yeah.
Alright, so coming into the second half of this stage, Darren's going to want to make sure he's at full health going into one particular section of the stage here. So he's probably going to grab some health here. And then as long as you have full health and all of the collectibles, this pink capsule will spawn. This will give you the gold armor.
Yeah, the gold armor is pretty good as an upgrade.
Yeah. There are like other hidden unlockables, other pink capsules scattered throughout the stage that upgrade your helmet, your buster, your legs, and your chest. If you don't pick up any of those, though, you get access to the gold armor, which upgrades all 4 at once. So it's pretty.
Yeah. It gives you an extra air dash.
It does.
So...
Yes.
it's already, just that is already quite broken.
Alright, so here's God Car Machine. This boss is kind of silly. It's very scary in any percent, but in 100%, you can kind of just jump behind it. These orbs do a lot of damage if you face tank them, but you probably win the DPS race every time, as long as you're not missing Ray Splasher, so...
Yeah, it can go wrong, but it usually doesn't.
Yeah, usually it works out okay.
Usually, yeah. Usually everything goes just fine.
I'm glad you waited until he was done before you said that this time.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
All right, so in the Doppler 2 here, this stage is kind of cool. It's got some interesting stuff going on here. At the start here, you have these red guys who are pretty scary, honestly. They have a fair bit of health, and they do quite a lot of damage. It's not too much of a concern in 100%, though, because we also have a lot of health.
Yeah, in any percent, this stage can be a run killer because of the amount of enemies.
Oh, here comes Zero. Okay,
Oh.
so this is the second and last time we're going to see him. We're going to take him into this boss door, which is the only boss door in the game you can take him into. And then we're going to fight Mosquitos here.
Ooh,
Nice. Yeah, and he will charge Zero. He did it very quickly because Darren was on the wall. But then Zero will get damaged, and he'll tell X that he has to go back to the lab for repairs, and he'll give him his Z-Saber, which is very, very useful in the endgame.
Yeah. The Z-Saber does 16 damage
On contact.
on contact, and it also has a beam that it throws that
Mhm.
does 16 too, right?
Yeah, just spread over time, I think. Okay, so here's... Oh! Okay, well, we get more time to talk about this.
Yeah.
So this elevator is intended to be like kind of a slow snail ride all the way up to the top. But thankfully, since we have the double up dash, it becomes pretty routine to skip it for the most part. You just do have to be careful of the spikes though, because spikes are still deadly, obviously.
Yeah, it's not free, but it's also not that hard.
Yeah.
When you're a runner that plays this
There we go.
for as long as Darren has played. Like, it can go wrong, like it did, but
Yeah, so at the top here, we're going to be fighting... don't even remember this boss's name. But we're going to be fighting this guy. And you'll get to see the power of the Z-Saber here. It will pretty much just...
and it's sad.
Yeah. Darren also pulling out his Hyper C there, which is one of the benefits of gold armor. It essentially just gives you sort of another buster upgrade, which will let you, as long as you have ammo for it, it will let you sort of shoot just charge shots chained together. So you can just kind of belt out charge shots one after the other.
Yeah, because charging for the saber normally requires you to get 3 charges up, and that takes a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this refights actually has undergone a lot of changes recently, mostly involving Hyper C. We've been sort of, or not we, but Darren and Co have been sort of implementing a conservation glitch in Hyper C, which was task only for a while, that involves sort of wall kicking as you shoot the second buster shot, which will cancel the animation, and it will prevent the shot from being fired, while also letting you skip up to the next tier of shot. You can also cancel the Z-Saber immediately as it comes out and not expend ammo for that either. So you're essentially getting 3 charge shots for the price of 1, which saves a lot of time on these refights here.
Yeah, because to recharge the Hyper C, you have to take damage, and that's slow.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because you much rather just kill the guys.
Yeah, so you'll see Darren essentially, he'll do the Hyper C conservation glitch for the first hit, and then charge up for the second hit and take the damage to refill it while he's charging. So he'll essentially be starting every single one of these fights with full Hyper C, which is going to save time on pretty much every single one of these fights.
That's quite a bit faster than having to charge for a saber twice.
Yeah, this is really, really cool, because otherwise, if you're just charging all the time, these refights are fairly uninteresting. But like actually having to do the glitch and, you know, recharge the Hyper C efficiently makes it really, really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Beetle, no.
Beetle was not a nice guy.
No, he's not.
There is a lot of explosions in the refights. They take a lot of time.
Yep. Yeah, Rhino actually has some weird AI quirks where, like, he'll do that attack in the refights, or if you die to him, or die in the stage, I should say. But if you do the stage deathless, you'll never see that attack that he just opened with there, for whatever reason. I don't really know why that is.
Yeah, me neither. Is this catfish? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so
You've
all
gotta
the...
be
Go ahead, guys.
a little bit careful with catfish to not trigger his DM phase where he gets invincible.
Yeah, he will only do it if he's under half, and the
Yeah.
saber will put him at exactly half. So as long as you're careful, it should be okay. You just need to make sure you don't like hit him with a wayward buster shot or anything. So these two fights, Seahorse and then Crawfish coming up, are actually going to be the same. It turns out to be faster to do this like quick kill sort of thing, as opposed to charge up the saber a bunch of times.
Yeah, in any percent, since you can charge the saber much faster, you can actually hit Seahorse with an ice, then charge the saber to hit him and kill him instantly, but 100% you can't do that fast enough.
Yeah, Crawfish is the same way. If you had only like the regular saber and not the buster upgrade, you could just saber him while he doesn't have invincibility, but unfortunately can't charge up fast enough with the buster upgrade.
Thankfully, it's not much slower to just do the normal quick kills.
Right,
They
so
are
is that
indeed.
all 8? I think so. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so
Nice.
we're off to Dr. Doppler here. This is
Dr.
another pretty
Doppler.
scary fight here.
Yeah. It has a very interesting mechanic that it has a green shield thing that if you hit him while he has that up, he's gonna refill his health for the same amount of damage that you do right after. So you have to be careful to not hit him with it.
Ooh, very
Yo.
nice. Yeah,
Really
that was
nice
really
fight.
good. All right, so we're off to the final stage here. We just have Sigma to fight at the end.
Yeah, just Sigma now. And a small stage just before it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, so we have two, I guess technically 3 forms of Sigma to fight here. First one has a nice little shield here. which he goes down pretty quick because you can essentially, like, you can't really saber until your buster shots have left the screen, but since Sigma's shield is there, you can kind of just dump them into his shield immediately and just he goes down really, really fast.
The second form is a little bit hard to hit because the hitbox is quite small. But it's not too bad.
Oh, okay, got it.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. Now, have the third phase.
Yep, so this is almost time. As soon as he gets to the top of this climb and loses control is whenever we stop time.
This phase you don't actually have to fight, you just have to survive.
Yep.
It's possible to die though. And okay, he's safe now.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right, and that's time. Very, very.
Yeah, pretty nice run.
46. Excellent job.
Yeah, that was a great run. Do you guys have any shoutouts before we start wrapping up?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, I'd like to obviously say thanks to Darren for coming on and playing, and to
Yeah.
Cassio and Orsa for commentating. So thank you so much, guys, for showing off X3 for us.
Thanks for having us. It's really, really...
Yeah.
As a reminder, this was kind of a collaboration thing on our end because Classic Mega Man is doing a big thing throughout all of May for Mega May. So if you want to check out the stuff they're doing, you can go to joka.com/Megamay. That's JOKAH/Megamay as one word. And of course, if you want to check out more stuff for Mega Man X, you can go over to megamanleaderboards.net. And their speedrun.com also has an invite to their open Discord if you want to check out the X games and learn how to speedrun them. I'll drop both of those in chat right now, and they'll be in the YouTube description as well. But before we wrap up, I just want to say thanks once again, all of you guys who were here. And we do have a few quick things to go over. Just as a reminder, for Community Spotlight, we take your suggestions on what games you'd like to see. So if you have a game you think would be a good fit for this show, you can go over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix/spotlight-form to tell us what games you'd like to see on upcoming shows. And besides that, tomorrow we've got the Sprint, speedrunning roundtable discussion and talk show. Kusa Grande Invitational Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out all the dates for Summer Games Done Quick at gamesdonequick.com. But next week, we are going to have Mega Man Battle Network 3 Blue, which was voted for you guys the previous week. And there is another vote running on our Twitter at Games Done Quick. But since we don't really have any other shoutouts, we are going to wrap it up there, and we're going to dump you over onto a small online marathon that's going on right now. So we're going to host you over there. Why don't you go show them support, show them some love, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the sprint.